Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers! Tiki here! And introduce
Happy
yourself,
birthday,
gentlemen.
Tiki!
Introduce yourself.
And I'm Doug, or Hulk, if you prefer, yeah.
Or we got... Oh, God. We got Doug, we got Dash, we got Peregrine.
Very nice.
Hello.
You see, guys, I have friends.
Hello.
You see Tiki from, maybe a week from now. You have friends. Go back and watch this.
Yeah, we're here celebrating your birthday with you.
I know, right? So, all right, guys. So this is a pretty prolific three-person lineup that I got scraped together at literally the last minute here because we've got two of the final three from 1986. And then we've got arguably the biggest, most influential jury member, and I do mean big in more than one way. Big in that he's just a big threat, and big because he's a lumbering 8-foot-tall giant man beast, Hulk. How you doing, Hulk?
Oh! Oh, good.
All right.
How Tiki?
I'm okay. Doug, your voice is way too mellow for Hulk in real life.
He's Hulk from Endgame.
I'm sorry. I'm a mellow guy.
Oh yeah. Got Claude Kringa here. Claude, stick around, buddy, because you will probably be able to throw out some Disney debate questions soon. But first, basically, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of trivia. We're going to do a little bit of Disney debates, and we're going to do a little bit of Disney Movies The Ride. Do you all know how Disney Movies The Ride works?
Slightly.
Okay.
I know
that's that thing that with the movies.
Yes. So essentially what we do is we're going through all of the Walt Disney animated film catalog and pitching attractions based on each and every one of them.
All right.
Ooh.
So you guys are going to get a 1-minute pitch, and then I will throw it into a free-form 2-minute debate over who has the best pitch. And are you ready to hear the movies that we will be talking about this evening and making pitches for? Going in the timeline that we've already established?
Sure. Let's go on ahead.
The first movie we will be doing attractions for is Oliver and Company.
Okay.
The second movie we will be doing attractions for is The Great Mouse Detective. And the third movie will be Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, Dash!
Yes.
Okay, guys, so I am going to go ahead and pull up the clock. Like I said, y'all get 1 minute to make your pitch, and you get 2 minutes, free form between the three of you to debate on who has the best pitch. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the randomizer. And while we're doing this, guys, anyone in the comments, by all means, I want the debate to just be whatever the hell people want you guys to debate. So I'm just going to throw it out to the comments for debate questions. Okay, so we have Doug, we have Dash, we have Doug, Peregrine. All right, let me go ahead and do my screen share here, guys. Sorry, I'm a little unorganized here. Yeah, Disney Plus did have its Investors Day today. Claude, I've been napping since I got off work, so I don't really know too much. I know there's been some big announcements, and of course all the Spider-Man 3 stuff that's been happening. That's exciting. Anyways, let me go ahead and pull up my screen share. Okay, guys, this will determine the order of who goes first, second, and third. So let's pull it up. Okay, Doug goes first, Dash goes second, Peregrine goes third.
All right.
All right, and that'll just be. Do you guys want that to be locked in for all three, or do you want to kind of like do random for all three of the rounds?
Random.
Random for all three of the rounds.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. So, Doug, I will give you 1 minute to make your pitch. Time starts as soon as you start talking.
Wow, this is a hard one because I think I honestly haven't seen the film since when it was released. So I remember there was a subway chase at the end. So let's go with that. Let's make a Wild Mouse coaster based on the villain chasing all of our heroes through the subways. He was in his limo chasing them around. The heroes had a moped, juiced up moped that we're going to be riding in that, I guess. And throw in the Billy Joel songs. Why not? Especially at the end, after the hero perishes in a terrible way. Not the hero, the villain does. My goodness. And yeah, that's it. Sorry.
No problem. All right, crazy subway chase, Wild Mouse ride. All right, sounds good. So, Dash, you're up next.
All right. So some of the dominant stuff that I remember from Oliver and Company, because it's also been ages since I've watched it, is stuff like that subway chase and just the imagery of New York and Times Square in this environment. For me, I also definitely think like quick-paced sort of speed, but rather than Wild Mouse, I lean more towards a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride style dark ride, zooming around the streets of New York City as we kind of follow along with Oliver and the gang as they're running around having their antics, following along as Bill Sykes kidnaps that kid, and then following us through that crazy subway chase, complete with us nearly running into a subway train, but we managed to avoid it just in time.
Okay. All right, Mr. Toad style. Okay, Peregron, whenever you're ready.
All right. Yeah. So I also have not seen Oliver and Company in quite a long time, but I don't actually remember any of the subway stuff. What I remember is the "Why Should I Worry" scene. So we're going to capitalize on that. And I think that this scene is probably one of the most madcap, just crazy Disney animated sequences. So why not turn it into a trackless dark ride? Because that's like all the rage right now. So what it would be is the entire room is themed to a New York City street. The smell of hot dogs are wafting through the air, and it just spins you around as Billy Joel sings melodically to you around some pretty detailed dog animatronics. I think that would be the biggest ride ever. Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 minutes on the clock, and you guys will debate amongst yourselves who has the best concept. So I will go ahead and do that now.
All right. Well, if everyone's going to just sit silently, we have two rides that are based on trains. And when has trains ever been popular in Disney, right? Like there has never been train-themed attractions. Trains don't stand out. You want to know what stands out? Madcap musical numbers starring 80s rock stars. That's what the people are asking for. Look at the Secret Life of Pets attraction. People want dog animatronics for irrelevant IPs. I think Disney needs to capitalize on this immediately. And trains are out. IPs that are no longer relevant featuring singing dogs are in.
No. You need to be able to cater to like a diverse variety of tastes. And I feel like my approach can cover that. Yes, there are trains, but there are also thrills that come with those trains. And you get to the thrills after you start off with sort of the fun, manic energy of speeding around New York City, following Oliver and Company as they're going around. You start with the fun, you then follow up and give them the thrill.
And if we're wanting thrills, then obviously the wild mouse that I pitched is the superior option. And considering we had a Mr. Toad proposal, I will go ahead and say that Toad was originally going to be a roller coaster, most likely a wild mouse. So I feel that it would be very appropriate to bring the original intended madcap energy to our attraction.
Only one of these three prompts has you spinning around in circles while smelling hot dogs, and I really think that is what captures the Disney spirit. Both of your rides are going to make people, I don't know, sick, probably. But there's nothing about
R2 noises.
Right. I mean, there is nothing.
R2 noises. That means stop.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I don't have the buzzer. Dragon has the buzzer. It's usually R2 noises.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, anyone in the comments can go ahead and chime in. We got Atomic Beast in the comments, as well as Nigel Channing. Hey there. Is Oliver and Company supposed to be like 101 Dalmatians and American Tail? Honestly, that's pretty accurate. It's a pretty accurate, like, this plus this equals this. Guys, first of all, I'm gonna knock Dash out of the equation, just because I feel like Doug made a really good point about, like, well, if you're gonna go Mr. Toads, then you can do Mr. Toads as a wild mouse. Mr. Toad was originally gonna be a wild mouse anyways. Peregrine, however, I love the tongue-in-cheek element of what he was pitching, and I feel like he probably encapsulated, like, the debate side of things the best. He made a lot of decent counterpoints. However, I will counteract with the train thing. I mean, yeah, you saying that, it's like, you're probably being sarcastic, but obviously we have the railroad and we have Runaway Railway. So with that in mind, unless I see anything else in the comments in another second or two, I'm going to go ahead and have to award it to Doug.
All right. Thank you, Tiki.
Yeah, I was leaning on yours in the original pitch, and then I think you really saved it with your argument that Mr. Toad was originally going to be a coaster. So that's what kind of clinched it for you. Okay, and now we are going to go on to the Great Mouse Detective. I'll pull the randomizer back up. Hold on. Again! Another! Okay, the D's switched, and that's it. We have Dash going first, then Doug, then Peregrine for Great Mouse Detective. All right, Dash, whenever you're ready.
All right, so the Great Mouse Detective. There is so much, like, great energy to this film, and in particular, one of the major sequences from this film is actually its sequence near the end with a flight over Victorian London, crashing into Big Ben for a clock tower battle. I would suggest that this is something where we could go with the rail suspended bike ride approach, following along Basil of Baker Street as he's on the chase to capture Radigan, following him first through the initial chase after the coronation, taking us then over the cityscapes of Victorian London, and then through the clock tower for that big final battle.
Okay. R2 noises. All right, Doug, whenever you're ready.
All right. So what everyone remembers the best about the Great Mouse Detective is Ratigan. So I propose we make the ride from Ratigan's point of view. We will portray his gang, hired by Ratigan to acquire all of the items needed to put together his latest invention, his latest masterpiece in crime. So it becomes a interactive dark ride, somewhat like Monsters, Inc. Ride and Go Seek. We ride a Radigan-created contraption through the streets of Victorian London, tagging and picking up items out of toy stores, storefronts, and so forth for a great big climactic showdown against Basil. We will show him once and for all that Ratigan is the best. And of course, great big song number in the middle, the Ratigan song. Can't go without that. And I think that's about it.
All right, Peregrine.
All right. I have definitely seen The Great Mouse Detective. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So, yes, this movie is very famous for one scene in particular that I know, and it's also the Ratigan scene. But I think I'm going to take a different take on it. I don't know if this is allowed, so pardon me if I'm breaking the rules by not doing. Are non-rides allowed? Can you do a show?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. I'm going to do a show. It's a musical extravaganza. You're going to have, it's going to be like, you are going to follow Ratigan through his day, basically. We're going to be enjoying his day of just being evil. Sure, like 4 or 5 different songs, including Ratigan. We'll have ensemble and dancers, and it'll just be a fun little way to celebrate a villain that doesn't get enough love.
I like it. Okay. All right, you guys, you got 2 minutes. Go ahead and fight amongst yourselves.
Well, I feel that Dash's proposal is the too obvious one, the suspended dark ride. I mean, it's kind of obvious with all of these to go with just a retelling of the story kind of approach, and I feel that he hasn't particularly gone past that. The other two are both about Ratigan, so they're equally good.
True, my approach may be a bit obvious, but I feel that an approach capitalizing on that would help for an IP that's maybe not as well known to the general public. Also, the rail suspended dark ride system is an approach that really kind of feels underused. Like, it feels like Disney only has really used that for something like Peter Pan's Flight and nothing else. And this just happens to be a scenario where we can match up a great sequence with a well-fitted attraction style.
I think that we celebrate this suspended ride system too much. I think Peter Pan really is unique because of it, and I don't think the feeling of flying is going to have that same feeling like for a Great Mouse Detective attraction. Nor do I feel like just a dark ride through Ratigan's story. However, I think a musical spectacular on a stage with new original songs telling a character, it'll get people a little more invested. You can tell the character a little more rather than focusing on a movie that people really haven't seen as much. You can make it more about the character than the story of the film.
If you want to get people invested, I've got an interactive dark ride. You know, not
R2 noises. Sorry, Doug.
No, I knew my timing.
Okay. So yeah, anyone who okay, so let's see. We have in the comments Ace Pie, Claude's back. So anyone in the comments want to give a vote? I will say I did really like the defense of Peter Pan, where it's like, well, yeah, so what if it's a suspended dark ride? You know, it's an underutilized genre, and the one time it has been done, it's been done really, really well. Not to mention, it's also iconic in E.T., so yeah, why don't we do more of those? Dash had great points. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and give it to Dash. Because Doug, I think you got knocked out kind of in a similar vein as to how you knocked out the other project, where you had a similar idea with the dark ride, but I feel like Peregrine's idea of the musical with Ratigan was a little bit more in line with so that was something a little bit more creative, and I would really like to see that, considering how obsessed I am with Hades Town and musicals involving villains and stuff like that. So Peregrine, I think you had the best pitch, but Dash, I think you had the best argument. So I will go ahead and give you the point.
Dash certainly deserves a great mouse detective point.
All right. And we will go back to the randomizer one final time. Another! All right, Peregrine, you're going first this time, followed by Doug, followed by Dash. All right, so Who Framed Roger Rabbit, guys? And just to be clear here, you cannot pitch anything that's like already been done. So like, I don't want to see like a Toontown trolley, or just something that's like, hey, it's cartoon spin again. I want to see an original Roger Rabbit idea that hasn't been like, something that we don't know about. Like basically any concept that we know is in development for Roger Rabbit, and there's been a few of them, kind of try and shy away from. I want to see your original takes on this IP. Right?
All right.
Okay. And also, guys, this is going to be the last round of Disney debates, or I'm sorry, of Disney Movies The Ride. So please, by all means, get your debate questions in. I would love to just take debate questions from all y'all the rest of the show.
If Dash wins this debate, he gets my vote for 1986.
Oh, God.
Oh,
no pressure.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do it. We have Peregrine up first for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the attraction. Thanks, Space. Peregrine, you have 1 minute on the clock whenever you're ready.
All right. So yeah, I have not ridden the Roger Rabbit ride, but to my knowledge, it's mostly focused on the movie. I think we should scrap that. Roger Rabbit is a cartoon character. He is supposed to be a love letter to the cartoons of like the early days of cartoons. And I think we should really focus on that with the Madcap style. And there's nothing more Madcap, in my personal opinion, nothing scarier either than a drop tower attraction. I think that if we wanted to do a drop tower attraction that is more in line with cartoons, more zany, less predictable, more drops, more rises, telling the story of just, I don't know, you could have Roger Rabbit doing anything. He could be in that hotel, in a building, tall skyscraper, for whatever reason. It would have a lot of just madcap energy to it. You'd really be able to just throw a lot of really cartoony, zany stuff into it in a unique system that isn't like a dark ride or a Wild Mouse coaster or anything like that.
RT noises. All right. Okay, let's see. We have me. Hold on. I'm unsure of myself. We have Doug next.
Ready when you are.
I'm ready whenever you start talking.
All right. So what Who Framed Roger Rabbit really is a mystery story, a film noir. I say we lean into that direction, make an attraction about valiant and valiant detectives. Do a sort of Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom exploratory attraction. Set it throughout the entirety of Mickey's Toontown in Disneyland. You start at Valiant's office, you receive clues about the mystery, then you have to travel throughout the land, interacting with some of the pre-existing interactions that Toontown is known for, plus new ones. Get windows with animated characters in them, grill them, get new clues. You have to solve the mystery of, let's say, who stole Roger's Oscar. And never the same thing. You get different characters every time. Get the full gamut of obscure Disney characters, as many like Horace, Clarabelle, even bring in Oswald. And I think you could really get an impressive, immersive experience.
All right. Okay, Dash, whenever you're ready.
All right. So, a good point is raised about that mystery, that film noir element. But I'm going to take a different tack on this point. In the movie, Eddie Valiant had mentioned at one point that he used to walk the beat on Toontown when he was a cop. So my idea is essentially a funhouse walkthrough attraction, as if we're cops who are following along a case in Toontown. So we're working our way through the alleys and back buildings of Toontown, which, due to it being Toontown, there's all sorts of like goofy effects and logic that are present as we're making our way through, trying to follow the trail on this case. Perhaps it's a toon kidnapping or something was stolen from Roger, like was raised earlier. But I feel like this sort of funhouse walkthrough approach could make for a really interesting tact on sort of a goofy spin on investigating a case.
Okay. Alrighty. So you guys have 2 minutes. Debate amongst yourselves.
All right, I'll go, I guess. So I mean, the idea of having a detective story, that's not a bad idea. Don't get me wrong, detectives are fun. People enjoy playing detective, but I really think that Roger Rabbit's demographic is with the older millennials, the younger Gen X, and those people aren't so much looking to go and play a detective game while walking around Toontown. They're going to be looking for an attraction. They spend a lot of money to be there. They don't want to waste their time. And that's not everyone, but that is a decent number of people who are going to be visiting Disney. What I think they would much prefer is something along the lines of a thrill ride that focuses more on the zany and wacky aspects. While certainly they might enjoy a detective story, I think it would be far less popular and would probably alienate some of the younger kids because they don't know the source material, and some of the older people because, well, it's a detective game.
You have a thrill ride that has an inherent height limit. You're obviously alienating the younger children with it. And in a land that was designed from the get-go to be the most child-friendly land in all of Disneyland, I think with the detective interaction land exploration that I'm proposing, you take advantage of what's already there in Toontown and sort of give it new life in a way that it never really had past maybe its first year or two. And that sort of interacting with a cartoon world, I believe, gets a lot closer to the true madcap of what the Roger Rabbit world is all about. It's certainly not a thrill ride concept.
Exactly, which is why I propose this funhouse approach. It's a fusion of the wacky with the sort of mystery atmosphere, which makes Who Framed Roger Rabbit such a beloved movie as it is. It is that fusion that we would want to capture, hence why I propose this cops following the trail in Toontown approach for a funhouse.
Or 2 noises. All right. Okay, comments. How are you feeling about this? I will say, Peregrine, are you aware that I did do a Toontown Tower of Terror?
I was not.
Yes, it's one of my all-time favorite projects that I ever worked on.
And then in Sorcerer's Apprentice, I did a DuckTales Tower of Terror.
Oh, yeah.
You did do that one. That one was very good.
I am leaning right now. Yeah, right now, I feel like Doug and Dash both made really good points. Peregrine, I think your whole thing was just kind of like, oh, we need more of a thrill. Whereas I feel like both Doug and Dash kind of like went into the noir elements a little bit more. I feel like Doug had the best pitch overall. Like I could really vividly picture his pitch. But Dash maybe was the best of both worlds here, like he was saying. And I feel like Dash had the last word, and that helped his debate. So, again, people in the comments, let me know.
I just wish that Peregrine had mentioned Droopy as the elevator guy.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be 100% honest. I don't think I've ever seen Roger Rabbit either.
Oh, man.
That needs to be rectified. It's on Disney Plus, right?
That really needs to be rectified.
Yeah, it's been on my list, but I've never gotten around to it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, it is great. It's basically a comedic Chinatown with cartoon characters.
And it's got that Back to the Future energy that Zemeckis had in the late 80s, which is just, you can't beat that.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of funny that you've pitched that elevator idea without having seen the film, because there actually is an elevator sequence.
Yep.
It was
That
a
is-
good elevator pitch.
That
Thank
was entirely coincidental. I've seen like the first 20 minutes maybe, but it's something I've got to sit down and actually do.
All right, I'm just, guys, if no one's going to call it, I'm going to have to call it. I'm going to have to give it to Doug just because of how outside the box his pitch was. And I feel like he defended his pitch against the whole critique of it being too kid-friendly really well. It's a very economic use of the space and is a really good kind of use of the IP as well. I feel like it's a natural fit for the IP. All right. So that means we are on for the debate. Now, guys, with these debate questions, I just want to throw out there, I don't want to see debate questions that are pick between this or this just because we have 3 people on. So, we can't do those types of questions. Keep it as broad as possible if you guys don't mind. With that in mind, I'm going to throw up the first of 5 debate questions that we'll be going through tonight. What is the best reboot? It could be any reboot of anything. Disney, non-Disney, whatever. Just what was the best one?
Best reboot.
Best reboot.
Ooh, that is a challenge with, for one thing, sorting through just the multitude of reboots that there have now been.
Right.
I will say, if shooting just from the gut at the moment, a reboot that sticks out to me personally was She-Ra and the Princesses of Power on Netflix.
Okay. She-Ra. Okay.
Yeah, that was a series that took.
Save the debate point, Dash. Save the debate.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I'll go with the 2010 True Grit.
Oh, that would be a remake.
Oh, yes, that would be.
Sorry.
Well, while he's thinking, I'll go with Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay, what do you guys think? I would consider that a reboot. What do you guys think? Is that fair?
I'd say it's got enough wiggle room to be a reboot.
I mean, I'd say it's technically a sequel, but
I mean, when you recast the lead, does that count it as a reboot? And plus, you've got like a 2-decade gap in between.
yeah, I'll count it. All right.
I mean, if you don't want that, I'll just go with Casino Royale, I guess. I don't know.
No, we can do Fury Road.
All right.
Okay. Wow, I'm struggling. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is I don't know if this is a remake either, but the 2009 Star Trek. Is that a remake or a reboot?
I would consider that reboot.
Okay.
Yeah, I would consider that reboot. Right?
We'll
Would you guys think so?
Yeah, I'd call it a reboot.
I mean, it's kind of like half reboot, half remake, but I would consider it reboot in the way that they mess with the timeline. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so guys, how the debates work is I'm going to give you all 30 seconds to make your pitch, and then 15 seconds to do a rebuttal. And whoever says their thing first will go first. So we have, let's see, we have Dash going first, then Doug, then Peregrine. So 30 seconds for your initial opening statement. Dash.
So, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. This is a reboot that its roots are in an 80s toy line spin-off of He-Man. And from just that general cash point origin, this series manages to tell a great story over the course of 5 seasons with interesting, developed, fleshed out characters.
Our 2 noises. All right. Doug, whenever you're ready for Fury Road.
Well, Fury Road is simply the greatest action film that has been made in this millennium, possibly in all time. It elevates everything that the original Mad Max films did to the point where it got a Best Picture nomination, which never happens for action films. Just the most coherent storytelling, most coherent storyboarding across the board, endlessly rewatchable, and they have constantly been talking about more since then, so it's reignited the brand.
All right. Peregrine, 30 seconds.
Okay, so Star Trek by J.J. Abrams, the 2009 version, was probably the best way that we could have rejuvenated the Star Trek brand with the original, like, Captain Kirk character. Just because there are some really problematic things that wouldn't hold up in today's day and age with the old Star Trek. This one took it, and it kept those original roots while also adding some new stuff that other people can get into.
Okay. All right, now we'll go back around for 15-second rebuttals. You know what? Since you're rebuttaling 2 things at the same time, I'm gonna give you guys an extra 5 seconds apiece. So you'll do 20-second rebuttals. Dash, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so first, to challenge Mad Max Fury Road, though that film had a major impact, it's still unfortunately stuck in the limbo of just one movie and hasn't gotten any traction beyond that. Then, on the point of the 2009 Star Trek reboot, it was definitely engaging to be sure, but there is a question of how much it sacrifices of the spirit of Star Trek in the process of this new approach.
Okay, Dash, you went a little bit over there, buddy. I wasn't paying attention. My bad. You had to watch that.
My apologies.
You know what? I'm going to just give you each 30 seconds because of that. So 30-second rebuttals. Doug?
All right. Well, Mad Max is the only one that's still potentially ongoing. She-Ra ran 5 seasons and it ended. And I don't even remember anything about it. So outside of a niche audience, it doesn't seem to have had much impact. Star Trek started out very well, but then Into Darkness, a real drop in quality. And I liked the next one, which name I can't remember. But clearly, that series has stopped. Abrams went and destroyed Star Wars next. So it's had its day.
All right. Peregrine?
Okay, yeah, so I'm with Doug here. I have never even heard of She-Ra, like the reboot. I didn't even know it was a thing. So obviously it didn't have as wide an appeal to be maybe it was quality-wise the best reboot ever, but I don't think enough people have heard about it or have seen it to really quantify that. Meanwhile, Mad Max was great. It was a really good movie, but it was kind of, I don't hear people talking about it as much. Meanwhile, Star Trek, I think, was still really popular. Saw the clock just counting down there.
Okay. Let's see. Who won, guys? Who won in the comments? Let me know. I'm just gonna say Doug. I'm gonna call it Doug. Yeah. I think that's pretty fair, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I can't argue with that.
All right, Doug, I am going to go ahead and let you pick the next question. What do you want to debate?
Oh boy, is that going to be between you three then?
No, just between you
us
three
and-
again. Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't thought about that yet. What is the best Disney thrill ride, purely as a thrill ride?
Okay.
Wait, are you doing that as your own question?
As a debate question.
No, I'm sorry, Doug. Just pick from the comments.
Oh, is there a list?
Yeah.
Where's this list at?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, you can't see it.
Oh, yeah, in the YouTube comments.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even go to that thing.
My bad, Doug. My bad. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus there.
Sorry,
You know what? We're
I'm
going to
getting
go
into
with.
it right now.
Okay, it's all good. Here, we're going to go with this one.
Sorry,
What
I
series?
wasn't on mute.
It's fine. What series had the worst conclusion? So this could be any TV show, not just Disney. Any TV show, not just Disney.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. All right.
The Star Wars Skywalker saga.
That's not it. Oh wait, which?
Yeah,
Like
the
The
recent
nine
film.
the episode film.
I'm going to assume that he's talking about a TV show, though.
Oh, TV show?
Let's keep it to TV.
We'll go with TV. Damn it. Okay.
Nah, fuck it. Why not? Let's do Skywalker. Why not? It didn't clarify. Let's do it.
Cool.
Skywalker Saga versus Game of Thrones. They both had equally iconic starts. They both had equally messy endings. All right. Let's see. Who else has to pick?
Yeah, I'm still deciding what to go with because you both pretty much have like the top answers, I'd say, at the moment.
Matthew Fox is just staring at you like sweaty-eyed in the jungle. He's got his sweaty shirt. He's like, pick me, Dash, pick me.
Yeah, I'll go with Lost. Somebody has to dig that corpse out of the grave again.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you want to go with the obvious answers. All right. So Lost versus the Skywalker Saga versus Game of Thrones. This is a big one. All right. Let's see. Doug, you have 30 seconds.
I mean, my hysterical laughter at the start says it all, doesn't it? It was such a train wreck. How is Braun the Broken supposed to be the king with the best story? It built up to nothing. They didn't lead into Daenerys' psycho moment at all. It feels like they were making it up as they went along without referring to whatever notes Martin presented for them. I mean, I trust Martin has an actual ending for his story, which will
Our
be
two
acceptable.
noises. Okay, Peregrine.
All right. So Star Wars is probably the most beloved franchise of all time. And to go into the theater not once, not twice, but 3 times, and to walk out at best underwhelmed and at worst absolutely just feeling like your favorite saga has been torn from you like a baby at your breast is probably worse than a 8-season series that most people weren't even invested in going to the final season anyway.
Our two noises. Okay, Dash.
So, you guys have been supporting recent losses, but Lost was the original because that hack Damon Lindelof got so caught up in like his big picture mysteries and just the questions are more important than the answers that he forgot to give audiences with a satisfying conclusion for characters. People connected to them. People want to know what happened to them, not just to get left with an ambiguous mystery.
All right. You know what? Because of the three-way thing, I'm just going to go open it up for 1 minute to three-way debate. All right, I think I'm going to go experimental with this.
All right.
1 minute, guys. Free-form debate amongst yourselves.
All right. So Lost
Game of Thrones
and
have the
Game of
most.
Thrones
Let's just talk over each other the whole time. I think
So, hey, Star Wars, you've been
Game of
good
Thrones.
with shit cropping up here and there. So it's not necessarily out of the realm of surprise to see that, oh, this might turn out poorly. There is great stuff in Star Wars, certainly, but there's been enough rough patches that certainly we could have seen the signposts coming. And yeah,
the last time Star Wars was good was 1984. Game of Thrones was good up until its last season or two, and it has brilliant books to build off of. It dropped a lot more of its balls.
Game of Thrones and Lost, while maybe they were the most popular TV show of their time, Star Wars is definitely the most popular franchise of probably all time. And to see that torn away from people, I feel like isn't as bad as seeing, or is worse than seeing a TV show that ended a little bit disappointing.
Okay, I'm going to give. Hold on. I'm going to give Doug a 10-second final thought and Dash a 10-second final thought. Doug, whenever you're ready.
Okay, well, I wasn't ready for that. I'm just going to say that Game of Thrones is the only one of these that J.J. Abrams is not personally responsible for the destruction of, which doesn't mean anything one way or the other.
All right, and Dash, 10 seconds.
All right, I'm ready.
All right.
Lost wasn't just J.J. Abrams' fault. Don't forget Damon Lindelof. That man destroyed Tomorrowland as well. Do not forget his wreckage.
He also destroyed the Aliens franchise.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Oh God, Lindelof. But you know what? He gave us The Leftovers and Watchmen, so I'm still mixed on him. Anyways, I'm gonna give it to Claude. What do you think? You were the one who pitched the question. I have just to speed it around, I am going to give it to Peregrine. It was definitely between Peregrine and Doug, but I think Peregrine held up his defenses. He made a really good argument for why Star Wars was easily the most influential of the franchises and therefore the most heartbreaking. And all right, so Peregrine, do you have the chat up?
I do.
Okay, do you have a question?
I'm tossed between two, but I think I'm going to settle on best Nickelodeon TV show.
Okay, all right.
And I'm going to put it in right now. I'm going to take the easy one, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
All right.
Yeah,
I have to go, for obvious reasons, I have to go with Doug.
I'm going to go with the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series.
Oh, wow. Oh, Dash going modern. All right. Okay, guys, this is question 3 out of 5, just so you know. And I don't think we're going to do that quiz just because we don't really have time to prepare for it, and it'd be kind of like springing it on you. So I think we'll just go through the debate questions and then call it a night. Okay, so let's see. So we have Peregrine with Avatar, we have Doug with Doug, and we have Dash with TMNT 2012. All right. Peregrine, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, so Avatar: The Last Airbender is a masterclass in storytelling. It is a masterclass of character arcs. It has the best character redemption story that I have ever seen. It is absolutely gorgeously animated, and every single part of this story is just absolutely crafted so brilliantly. Even the worst episode, the absolute worst episode of the series, is still better than most children's cartoons. This is not a show for just children. This is a show for everybody, and it's so brilliant at it.
Okay. Dash, you went up to 35 seconds, so I'm going to give everyone 35 seconds. Okay. Doug.
Well, if you didn't have Doug, you wouldn't have Nickelodeon animation to begin with. It is the bedrock of the entire network. You have everything that comes later originated with Doug, and brilliant, memorable characters: Doug, Skeeter, Patty, Roger, and a theme song that you can't get out of your head, no matter how hard you try and how hard you drink. And for its time, especially, exceptional animation, which rose the bar, paved the way for programs like Avatar and Ninja Turtles.
All right. Dash.
All right. So the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series is such a great action adventure series on Nickelodeon, thanks in part to really capturing the potential of the property. It manages to balance the goofy fun and charm that comes with something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, along with gripping character work and storytelling.
Okay. All right, I'm going to open up the floor for a minute. You guys just verbally kill each other.
All right, so yeah, Doug is best known for being killed by Disney Channel. Sure, it might have had some good stuff, but it is not the masterclass of storytelling that Avatar: The Last Airbender is. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, those characters have been through so much. I don't even think this is their best adaptation of the characters. Avatar: The Last Airbender has so much to offer. It has story, it has substance, it has character development, and it has some of the best animation the network has ever seen.
It is also Avatar: The Last Airbender has also been the source of quite possibly one of the most disappointing live-action films that have been made. And frankly, the Netflix live-action series that's in the works isn't sounding too promising either. That series may have had great material to it, but it seems like it keeps getting lost.
Noises.
Even Doug is named Doug.
Peregrine wins. I mean, that's pretty easy, I think. Sorry. I don't know. Honestly, Dash, I think you could have won that if you wouldn't have just gone through the easy. Avatar has a bad movie. We're not talking about the movies, Dash. We're talking about the shows. The movies have, you could jump on TMNT. Doug or Peregrine could have easily been TMNT 3.
Yeah,
I kind of like that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a weak argument on my end, and I fully acknowledge that.
All right.
And you'll forgive me for choosing a joke show to begin with.
It's all good. It's all good. All right, so we've got two more debates that we're going to do tonight. Peregrine, do you have another one in mind?
Okay, yeah, let's go with the other one I was going to pick, and that is worst Disney movie.
Okay. Ooh, boy, just ever.
Chicken Little.
Oh, shit, he said it.
You did not just do that.
What did he say?
You've angered Buck Cluck.
Buck Cluck shall smite thee.
Oh, shit, he went that way?
Yes.
I'm going to go with Home on the Range.
Okay. Doug?
Jeez, I don't know. Pocahontas.
Pocahontas. All right. Okay, let's see. Peregrine goes first with Chicken Little.
Oh, no, that was Dash.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Dash goes first with Chicken Little. All right, my bad.
All right. So Chicken Little is an abomination. Its moral is so poorly handled there are no likable characters in it. It ends in a rather uncomfortable case of bimbofication of a character. And just the animation is ugly. it is easily the lowest point of Disney animation that I have ever witnessed.
Our two noises. Okay. Peregrine.
All right. Home on the Range is just as unlikable in all of their characters. There's not a single likable character in that movie. They are all just objectively bad characters, like bad people. It has zero redeeming qualities. It doesn't have any good music. At least Chicken Little has some REM in there. There is absolutely nothing redeemable. The animation isn't even that good. They took the Western and they absolutely crushed a genre that I think Disney could have done really, really well.
Okay, Doug.
Well, what's more disappointing than a crash after riding high? And Disney was in the best place ever in the mid-90s. Aladdin, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, and however bad the others are, Pocahontas brought them back to earth, and it started the downfall that led to other stuff, which was to be expected afterwards. It had so much potential, great animators, all of the studios backing behind it. They wanted a Best Picture nomination, and it was just nothing compared to what they were putting out at the time. And just...
Okay, R2. All right. 1 minute, guys. Kill each other.
All right, Chicken Little at least spearheaded the 3D animation. Without Chicken Little testing those waters, we probably wouldn't have had any of the like real big hits for Disney Animation Studios for a little while longer, because that was more Pixar's thing. Pocahontas is still an okay movie. Pocahontas has some issues, but it's absolutely not the worst movie. Meanwhile, Home on the Range has nothing redeemable about it.
No, at least there is some goofy charm that can be found in Home on the Range. Like, I still kind of remember Yodelay-Doodle-Idaloo kind of fondly, and there's some neat animation in that points. Chicken Little is just ugly. And by the way, it was Dinosaur where they really dipped their toes into the realm of computer animation on the Disney side.
Is love. And Home on the Range is a lot of fun. It's laugh out loud funny at times with the train chase, the Pied Piper sequence with the multicolored cows. None of the voice actors are nearly as hateful as Mel Gibson. And they're even giving you Roseanne.
At least Pocahontas still gets the benefit as well of having like memorable music, like Colors of the Wind still sticks through. Can you really call it that bad if you can still get music like that or Just Around the River Bend?
Oh, Pocahontas absolutely has a really, really good soundtrack. Chicken Little at least has some really funny stuff in it. You can look back at Chicken Little and look past the mean-spirited. We have been making jokes about Chicken Little this entire past competition. It shows that there is something redeemable about it, even if it's just in the memes. Nobody memes Home on the Range. Nobody thinks about Home on the Range, and that's because Home on the Range is Disney's worst movie.
All right, guys.
Hold
on. Peregrine, I'm going to make that your final thought. Doug, you have a 10-second final thought, and then Dash, you'll have a 10-second final thought.
All right. I mean, out of all of Disney's 90s films, Pocahontas is the one that's talked about the least, probably. Less so even more than Rescuers Down Under. It is just, it's the start of the end. I think we can blame everything bad on it.
Okay. Dash, you get 15.
All right.
Whenever you're ready.
Pocahontas and Home on the Range are forgettable, but Chicken Little deserves to be buried and forgotten, and that is the major distinction there.
All right, I got to admit, I'm gonna have to turn to the comments for this one because I'm having trouble. I think all three of you had really good arguments. So Claude, you were the one who pitched this, so go ahead and give me your answer. What do you think won this one? Then I have one last question for y'all. And it's a birthday-related question. But we'll get there. No, it's not the birthday related question that Claude threw out because I think that's a little too niche. Because honestly, off the top of my head, I can't even think of a birthday themed episode of an animated show. I'm sure they're out there, but
I can think of one at least.
Claude, who won? Tell me, Claude.
Claude, we need your assistance.
In the meantime, I'm going to start thinking of what?
No, just use the randomizer.
No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to start thinking of birthday-themed episodes. We have Tommy's first birthday from Rugrats. We have, let's see.
Radio Bart.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
If we go with that, I'm going with that.
No, we're not going with that. Claudie. Come on, Claude. Tell me.
Claude?
Who won?
Somebody?
Guys, all three of you genuinely did have solid arguments. Like, if I were to pick one person, like me personally, I'd probably go with Doug, just because I feel like Doug kind of like his arguments sort of like outweighed the other two. But then again, I like the argument that Peregron made of like, or I'm sorry, that Dash made of like, like nobody's talking about Chicken Little, or I don't know. It's like the Chicken Little, like the memes won out. Home on the Range, people defended Home on the Range. I didn't hear people defending Pocahontas, so that's why I'm kind of leaning towards Pocahontas. I heard defenses of both Home on the Range and Chicken Little. Home on the Range because yeah, it's got some genuinely fun songs and a few good moments in it. Home on the Range, really? Okay. Well, Claude, that wouldn't have been my pick, but by all means, you're the boss, man. So, yeah, all right. Okay, and the final debate answer of the night, the final debate question of the night. So let's just say that Tiki is going to a park that has literally any Disney character he could possibly interact with. Who would be the most appropriate Disney character for Tiki to meet and greet with on his 30th birthday?
So birthday specific, not just Tiki's favorite character overall.
Right. So essentially it'd be specific to like, so let's say you're 30, you're getting up there in age, you're not a kid anymore, you're not even a young man anymore, but you still want to have that Disney magic, you still want to like embrace the character of it all. Who would be a good fit? Who would be a good match for a 30-year-old to do a meet and greet with?
I mean, you got to go with Mickey Mouse.
All right.
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Ooh, I like that idea. Dash.
The Mad Hatter.
Ooh. All right. Oh, God. Oh, I could just imagine the Mad Hatter. All right. Okay, so let's see. Doug, what do you have?
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Okay, Peregron, you have Mickey Mouse. All right. So, Peregron, you go first with Mickey Mouse.
All right. Yeah, so I mean, Mickey Mouse is Disney. He is the character that everyone associates with Disney, and he is the character that when I go, and I'm only 21, but when I go, he is the character that I feel absolutely the most comfortable meeting as even just a 21-year-old. He is not a face character, so you don't have to really worry about that awkward interaction. If you approach Mickey Mouse, you don't see what the person who is wearing Mickey Mouse is grimacing at you with. He's just a friendly, wholesome experience no matter what age.
Okay. Doug, whenever you're ready.
All right, well, Peter Pan represents eternal youth better than any other Disney character. If you want to retain all the good qualities of childhood without sacrificing anything else, Peter Pan, he represents all of that. I think you could really engage with him well on your birthday. Plus, what 30-year-old doesn't want to meet the girl who's dressed like Tinkerbell? But besides that, it's just eternal youth and retaining the joy of childhood.
Okay. All right, Dash.
All right, so as we get older, we get bogged down in the sort of sameness of the world. We find ourselves facing the standard, just sort of inanity or just madness that we accept in our regular reality. Who better than the Mad Hatter to give you that reminder of sort of turning things upside down, reminding you of just how sort of goofy and fun things can be. And well, what better occasion than
All right.
on the one day that's not your own birthday?
Okay, guys, I'm going to give you 90 seconds, a minute and a half, and I'm not going to let you go over this time. Last time I let you go over because it was a good debate, but this time I'm going to strictly do the R2 noises at 90 seconds. So you have 90 seconds. Convince me.
All right. I mean, the other two characters are face characters. And I think, speaking from someone with experience like that, you don't want to go meet a face character. Face characters are people. You can look at them. You see, even if you're just projecting, you still have that sense of, I am too old to be doing this. Mickey Mouse doesn't care. Mickey Mouse doesn't judge. You can't see Mickey Mouse. All you see is that big smiling rodent that is looking at you. He will hug you no matter how old you are and is not going to feel weird because he is Disney. He is the embodiment of childhood, even more than Peter Pan.
I know we're talking about Tiki specifically. Tiki is not uncomfortable with meeting face characters from some of his stories he's told about, like chatting with Facilier with really in-depth stories specific to his time and place. And what better character specific to your 30th birthday, face character or not, than Peter Pan? And obviously the Mad Hatter, any day but your birthday is better. He's the unbirthday guy. I think that's just an obvious miscalculation.
Perhaps, but it's just the right amount of topsy-turviness to fit a character from Wonderland. And honestly, you're probably going to have like a more sort of fun conversation with a character like Mad Hatter versus the more sort of boastful nature of Peter Pan.
I think the quality of the conversation comes from what Tiki is supplying. And Tiki, in this context, he's going to go with the Peter Pan character.
All right, Doug, that's your final thought. I'm going to give Dash and Peregrine final thoughts. Dash, you got 10 seconds.
All right. So, for a more fun, kind of offbeat character, the Mad Hatter would offer just the right dose of fun for a meet and greet on a birthday.
Okay. And then Peregrine.
All right, yeah, Doug brings up a good point. The Mad Hatter wouldn't even justify your birthday because it is not your unbirthday. Why would you meet him on any day other than your unbirthday? That's 364 days a year you can meet the Mad Hatter. Peter Pan, I feel like it's just a little, this could just be me projecting, but it's a little weird to talk to Peter Pan as a grown adult.
Okay.
Isn't that the perfect time, though?
Okay, guys. All right. Yeah, just going to put it simply, Dash wins. I think that Dash, first of all, Doug, I appreciate you knowing that I am very much, if anything, I'm more comfortable with face characters, male face characters specifically, of course, because I don't want to come off like a creeper, and sometimes I do. I realize that. But male face characters I'm totally fine with. I will interact with male face characters all day. And so props to that. You definitely know me in that department. But I will say that I think that the Mad Hatter is a more unconventional and more fun choice than Peter Pan. I do think with Peter Pan, it's a little bit desperate. Like, Peter Pan, I'm 30 years old. Help me. How do you do it, Peter? You know, I think that's almost a little more sad. Whereas with the unbirthday, first of all, I've always kind of wondered how the Mad Hatter does interact with people when they're wearing the birthday button, and especially if it's such a big occasion. So, I don't know. I've had a lot of the interactions with the Mad Hatter before. I could totally see it working really well. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Dash. All right. But you know what? All three of you are winners tonight.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
And you are too, Tiki. Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday.
Yeah, we'll see what the next 10 years bring me. We'll see. All right, well, guys.
Maybe go see all the Disney parks in the next 10 years.
Yeah, hopefully. That's one thing that I got out in my 20s was, seeing most of the big theme parks in America that I wanted to get to. Not amusement parks per se. There's a lot of amusement parks that I've wanted to get to. But
have you been to Cedar Point yet?
No, I have not. That's a big bucket.
That's got to be high up on your list then, I would say. That's one of the best.
It is. That's high up on my list. Kings Island is also high up on my list. A lot of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. If the chance arises, then I will definitely. I think realistically, the first overseas park I get to would probably be Paris. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure.
I mean, I would say just because you're in the Bay Area, Tokyo is very realistic from that location.
Really?
If you put in if your schedule is fairly flexible, put in flight alerts. Like I went out there on a $300 round trip once.
But I'm saying how long? Ooh, that's tempting. But how long is the actual flight?
12 hours roughly.
Ooh, that's not okay.
It's not that awful. You're probably looking at no transfers either from where you're headed from, and it's easier than it ever was. You've got movies and stuff.
I'll definitely look into it. Yeah. All right.
I would recommend. Tokyo's. I love Tokyo. So
Tokyo out of all the overseas parks, that'd definitely be the one I'd start with for sure.
And the destination beyond the parks even is on its own worthy of a trip anyway, but easily.
Sure. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks to everyone in the comments. It's been a fun time. Let me close out this clock ringa thing. Yeah. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Reboot.
And once again, happy birthday.
Thank you.